My boyfriend Bill drives me crazy, and not in the good way. I mean, he annoys the crap out of me. Don't get me wrong, I love Bill to death, but sometimes I want him to die. There are times when we're romantic, though. You know, like those magical moments that are straight out of a movie. Like our first date. We met all the way back in high school. We liked each other, but we were both too shy to do anything about it. Until we were both at a school football game with friends. We were in different friend groups, but he came over to me at halftime and asked if I wanted to go on a walk with him. When we went on that walk, we actually didn't talk much. I guess we were both nervous, but we got a lot more relaxed when he noticed a firefly. He chased it down and grabbed it and put it in my hand. I'd never held a firefly before. Then we saw another one and another. Pretty soon we were laughing and running around trying to catch fireflies. That was pretty romantic. After we started living together, we began a Valentine's Day tradition. We'd go hiking in the park and have a picnic at the top of our favorite hill. We'd lay there together and watch a rare natural phenomenon, the Bonner butterfly. If we got lucky, we'd see a bunch of them fluttering around. You might be noticing a theme here. Bill always loved bugs, especially flying bugs. He told me about how butterflies are inactive in the cold months and really start to come out in the spring. But the Bonner emerged much earlier, in February, which is why it was so special. I thought Bill's interest in fireflies and butterflies was super cute. But unfortunately for me, the bug he's most interested in is the bee. When I say interested, I don't mean he's just an enthusiast. It's much more serious than that. Bill loved bees so much that he studied entomology in college and became a beekeeper. Every day, Bill tends to his bee colonies in our front yard. Sometimes these bees get out. There are just so many, they spill out from their hives and come into the house. There are bees everywhere all the time. And they're always breeding and multiplying, so it's gotten worse and worse. I'd find bees in the kitchen, in our bedroom, in our car. Sometimes I'll see one or two fly out of my clothes. Yep, they get in our closet too. I keep telling Bill to take off his bee suit before walking into the house, but he doesn't listen. He's in such a rush, he just walks in and out like that all the time, and it brings more bees into the house. Whenever I yell at him to take his bee suit off, he'd yell back, "I don't have time, I'm busy." See, Bill is so into bees, he started making lame bee puns a while ago, and it's just turned into this weird habit of his. Like everything else, I found it cute at first, but now it drives me insane, and we fight about that too. Bill has all sorts of bad habits, like he never hangs up his towel, and he clips his toenails in bed. Gross, I know. He's also got a deviated septum, so he snores all night, every night. I know a lot of people snore, but this is on another level. It's so loud, I bet you can hear it all the way up in Canada. His doctor tells him he needs to get surgery on his nose to fix it, but Bill's squeamish and refuses to go under the knife. He says he doesn't want anyone cutting open his beautiful face. I can't tell if he's joking or not. It was especially bad just the other night. I wear earplugs to bed, but he still woke me up because I could feel the vibrations from his snoring. That's right, the vibrations. It was like someone was taking a jackhammer to the mattress. Sometimes I just want to take a pillow and press it over his face. Hey, it would just be to dampen the noise. I know, he could suffocate, so I didn't. But I thought about it. Hey, Bill, Justin Trudeau called. He wants you to get the surgery. Since Bill's nose is all messed up, he also does this thing where he snorts. That's right, he'll just randomly snort like this. Throughout the day, at breakfast, when we're watching TV, when I'm trying to meditate, try being zen and clearing your mind of all your thoughts when you hear this. Do you realize this is essentially daytime snoring? Of all the men in the world, I had to end up with someone who snores when they're asleep and when they're awake. You know, being with the same person for so long, you'd think we'd both get a lot better at tolerating each other over time. When you're doing something for a while, you're supposed to get better and learn. But I swear, sometimes it feels like all we've learned is new ways to push each other's buttons. The last time Bill walked into the house with his bee suit on, I blew up at him. "What is your problem? I told you to take off your suit before coming inside." He said, "Oops, I forgot." Which, of course, made me even more mad. "You forgot? How many times do I have to tell you?" Bill just shrugged and said, "Sorry, I'll behave." Oh boy, that made me even angrier. I got up in his face and said, "Quit making bee puns." He stopped. I wasn't making a bee pun. Didn't you just say you'd behave, as in beehive? Bill gave me this innocent look. No, I just said I'll behave. Why are you saying it like that? Saying it like what? You know what you're saying! Bill still wouldn't cop to it. He said, the word behave has bee in it. I can't help that. Besides, you make bee puns too. Not once have I ever made a bee pun. Oh yeah? What's with your honey-do lists? I'm not making a bee pun. That's a thing. It's a play on honeydew melon, like the fruit. Bill scoffed. Honeydew melon? That's dumb. I couldn't take it anymore. I yelled, "Your bee puns are dumb!" Bill gasped and stood there for a moment. Then he said, "That stings." Wow. You see what I'm dealing with? Wow. You know what? I need to take a breather. As much as I can't stand Bill, I can't imagine being without him. When you love someone, you can't just walk away from the relationship because they annoy you. Maybe you can do that if you're not already in love with the person. But I already love Bill. It's too late for me. Living with anyone is probably a challenge. They're just always there, all the time. I was starting to get so frustrated, I decided I needed to see someone about this. I've tried talking to friends or family, and I've already tried therapists. None of it was really working. I needed to kick it up a notch. What I needed was a Buddhist monk or something. And you know what? I actually knew a Buddhist monk. You see, every Sunday I sell our honey at the farmer's market. All the local farmers sell their goods there. Remember how I told you about my Eastern tea? I get it from one of the farmers at the market. His name's Kai, and he's a real Buddhist monk. He has a garden where he grows all sorts of exotic herbs, which he uses to prepare his teas. I've often wished that I could be more like Kai. He's always so calm and relaxed. But let's see him try living with Bill for a week. I bet it would be enough to make even a Buddhist monk pull his hair out, if he had any. I went up to Kai one Sunday and asked him if I could trade him some honey for meditation lessons, because Bill was making me insane. I told him I had tried meditation on occasion, but I didn't think I was doing it right. That's when Kai suggested that I not worry too much about a right way or wrong way to meditate. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You come to me because you're suffering, but the reason you suffer is not because of Bill." Yes, it is actually. Kai laughed. No, the reason you suffer is because of judgment. Judgment of Bill. And judgment of yourself for judging Bill. You feel annoyed by him. And if that's not bad enough, on top of that, you feel bad about it. Wow, he was right. Sure, Bill annoyed me to no end, but I also hated who I became whenever I got mad at Bill. I asked Kai, "How did you know that? Do Buddhist monks also have a crystal ball?" He said, "No, I've seen you guys yell at each other." Oh. So Kai led me on a guided meditation. While I had my eyes closed, he told me that the point of meditating was not to clear my mind of all thoughts. That's what I thought meditating was, but he said that was impossible. Anyone with a brain is going to have thoughts, he said. One cannot stop thinking, but one can get better at not judging. I opened my eyes. How do I do that? Kai smiled calmly and said, "The same way you get good at anything else. Practice." Later, I went home after closing up at the market. It was a great day. I sold a ton of honey. I was counting all the cash we made when Bill walked into the house in his bee suit. Out of habit, I went to yell at him, but then I remembered what Kai said. Maybe I'd gotten so good at getting mad at Bill because that's what I've been practicing. So I tried something different. Instead of yelling at Bill, I thought about how hard he worked all day so that our bees could make lots of delicious honey, which is how we made our living. When I thought about that, it made me grateful. So instead of yelling at him, I went up to Bill. I took off his veil, and I thanked him for working hard and gently asked him to try to remember not to track bees into the house. From then on, Bill was a lot better about his bad habits. Honey catches more flies than vinegar, after all. Of course, Bill wasn't always good, but I was a lot better about not letting his habits annoy me, because droning on and on about it had been my bad habit. Droning, get it? Sometimes the people we love the most also annoy us the most. How do you deal with it? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden wisdom stories. Remember, when you share our stories, you're sharing wisdom.